Some things from 1970s America did not disappear all at once. They faded slowly. One store closed. One phone booth was removed. One family stopped taking Sunday drives. One neighborhood became quieter than it used to be. And by the time people noticed, an entire way of life was already gone. Today, we're looking back at 10 things we lost from 1970s America. These were not just objects or places. They were routines, sounds, habits, and small moments that made everyday life feel slower, closer, and more human. Welcome to Old America Memories. As you watch, think about which one you missed the most. Number 1. Local diners where everyone knew your name. Before fast food chains filled every corner, many towns had local diners that felt like part of the neighborhood. People came in for coffee, eggs, pie, burgers, or just a familiar face behind the counter. The waitress might already know your order. The cook might know your family. Someone at the next table might know what street you lived on. It was not fancy. That was part of the charm. The booths, the counter stools, the smell of coffee, and the sound of plates being set down made those places feel like home. Today, many of those small diners are gone, and with them went a little piece of local life. Number 2. Main Street department stores. Before malls became bigger and before shopping moved online, many people went downtown to shop. Main Street had department stores with window displays, shoe departments, clothing racks, perfume counters, elevators, and holiday decorations. For children, those stores felt huge. For adults, they were part of the rhythm of town life. People did not just buy things there. They ran into neighbors, dressed up for special shopping trips, and sometimes made a whole afternoon out of it. When those stores closed, Main Street changed. The buildings may still be there, but the feeling is not the same. Number 3. Kids playing outside until dark. In many neighborhoods, the sound of childhood once came from the street. Bicycles rolled over sidewalks. Baseballs hit gloves. Kids ran from yard to yard, made up games, and came home dusty and tired. There were no phones in their pockets. Parents did not always know exactly where everyone was, but there was usually one rule. When the streetlights came on, it was time to come home. It sounds simple now, but for many people, that freedom became one of the strongest memories of growing up. Today, streets are quieter, and that old sound of kids playing outside all evening feels harder to find. Number 4. Full-service gas stations. There was a time when stopping for gas meant someone came out to help. An attendant pumped the gas, checked the oil, cleaned the windshield, and sometimes asked how your day was going. You did not always have to get out of the car. There was a small human moment in something as ordinary as filling the tank. The station might have had a bell that rang when a car pulled in, a small office with maps on the wall, and a mechanic working in the garage. It was not just a pump. It was a service. Today, most people swipe a card, pump their own gas, and leave without speaking to anyone. Something convenient arrived, but something personal disappeared. Number 5. Pay phones on every corner. Before everyone carried a phone, pay phones were part of public life. They stood outside gas stations, near diners, in schools, airports, movie theaters, and on street corners. If you were late, lost, or needed a ride, you looked for a payphone. People kept coins in their pockets for moments like that. The sound of dropping change, dialing the number, and hearing the line connect was part of the experience. Sometimes the phone book was still hanging there. Sometimes it was missing pages. But when you needed it, that payphone felt important. Today, most of them are gone, and younger people may never know what it felt like to search for one. Number 6. Handwritten letters and postcards. Before quick texts and instant replies, people waited for words to arrive. Letters came in envelopes. Postcards arrived from road trips. Birthday cards were saved in drawers. Some people kept boxes full of old handwriting. A letter took effort. Someone had to sit down, choose the words, write them by hand, find a stamp, and send it away. Then the other person had to wait. That waiting gave the message weight. The handwriting, the paper, the postmark, even the small mistakes made it feel personal. Today, messages arrive instantly and disappear just as quickly. But a handwritten letter could last for decades. Number 7. Sunday family drives. In the 1970s, not every trip needed a big purpose. Sometimes families got in the car just to drive. They went through small towns, past farms, along quiet roads, or out to see a new neighborhood being built. Maybe they stopped for ice cream. Maybe they did not stop anywhere at all. The drive itself was the activity. Kids watched the world through the back window. Parents talked in the front seat. The radio played softly. There was no GPS giving directions and no screen to stare at. Just road, conversation, and time. Today, life often feels too busy for a drive with no destination. But many people still remember when that was enough. Number 8. Small-town movie theaters. Before multiplexes and streaming, many towns had one local theater. The sign lit up at night. The lobby smelled like popcorn. The seats creaked. The floor was sometimes sticky, but going there felt special. You saw the movie with your town. People lined up outside, bought tickets at the window, and watched the same screen together. For kids and teenagers, that little theater could feel like the center of the world. Some first dates happened there. Some favorite movies were seen there. Some summer nights began there. Today, many of those old theaters are closed, empty, or turned into something else. But for the people who remember them, the lights never completely went out. Number 9. Front porch conversations. Before homes became quieter and people spent more time indoors, the front porch was a meeting place. People sat outside in the evening, watched cars pass, waved at neighbors, and talked about ordinary things. Sometimes the conversation was important. Sometimes it was just weather, work, family, or the price of something at the store. That was enough. A porch connected the house to the neighborhood. It allowed people to be at home and still be part of the world outside. Today, many porches are empty. The chairs may still be there, but the habit is not as common. And the neighborhood feels different when nobody sits out front. Number 10. Waiting instead of rushing. This may be the biggest thing we lost. In 1970s America, people waited more. They waited for letters, waited for phone calls, waited for photos to be developed, waited for a favorite show, waited for stores to open, waited for someone to come home. Waiting was not always easy, but it gave life a different rhythm. Not everything was instant. Not everything was available all the time. Not every moment needed to be filled. People had more empty space in the day, more silence, more boredom, more time to think. Today, the world is faster, easier, and more connected. But sometimes, people miss the slower rhythm they once knew. Looking back, these 10 things were not perfect. 1970s America had its problems, just like every time period. But these memories remind us of a way of life that felt more local, more patient, and more connected in small, everyday ways. Local diners, main street stores, payphones, Sunday drives, front porches, handwritten letters. They were simple things. But simple things can carry the strongest memories. Which one do you miss the most? Share your memory in the comments. Thank you for watching Old America Memories. If you enjoy warm stories from the past, subscribe for more memories of the way America used to feel.